Today I'm starting with the Mystical Shaman Oracle again. I just love this deck. I can't help myself. Anyway, with number 30, lightning. And last night, I don't know about where you are, there's a lot of lightning and thunder at my house. And I was looking out the window, and it was really cool how it kind of lit up like the sky and all the clouds. You know how normally you can't see them unless it's like a full moon or something. But since it was a new moon, there wasn't a lot of light out there. But then with the lightning, it was really cool. I wish I would have got a picture, but I had children that was terrified. So, but I just love thunderstorms. I don't know, and lightning, and rain, especially in the summer and like early fall when it's not too cold. I love that. Anyways, on to the card. So the essence, which kind of talks about what the card is, says the formidable electric discharge of a lightning bolt brightens the sky and strikes the earth, accompanied by the mighty sound of thunder. This phenomenon has a positive effect. The light illuminates the earth and the psyche, but there's also a destructive side as well. The bolt can burn and even kill if it's too strong. And the invitation is the force of the upper world are investing their gathered energies to ignite you with a new inspiration and creativity. Allow this divine gift for awakening to take root in your being and enjoy the renewed sense of clarity, passion, and vision. So to me, this card kind of gives like a judgment card, right? We're being awakened, enlivened, suddenly aware, kind of like those aha moments, those moments of, great inspiration. And just like with lightning can also help with crops, right? Because it kind of alters the, the nutrients and it adds some more nitrogen. Pay attention to when you just regularly water your garden, and then when it rains real good during like a thunderstorm, it's beautiful. Like there's a big difference. Anyway, so that kind of reminds me too that we kind of get nourished with this type of shocking illumination, right? With this spark that we get. And then I have number 13, the Crow, and this is a good card too. I like this one. I think this is a beautiful combination, and I like the colors, so that kind of sparked me to use these cards today. So the essence is the Crow is the keeper of universal law, the law of truth. Crow teaches us to walk our talk, to find the congruence between who we say we are and who we really know ourselves to be. This winged one insists that we speak truth and we create truth instead of searching for it, and that we bring truth to every situation we find ourselves in. And again, I find this really beautiful because if you've known me for a long time, or even if you haven't, if you've listened to me a little bit, you kind of understand that I have this thing where I kind of prefer to find my own truth when it comes to my spirituality. And I'm not knocking anybody. Anybody can do what feels right to them, and I feel like that's ultimately what that's about. And again, we've been talking, I would say collectively in different readers and kind of groups that we're kind of in, whether we mean to be that way or not, but it's kind of been talking about, really being authentic and speaking your own truth, because honestly, I think that's where self-illumination really comes from, and true enlightenment comes from understanding your inner truth, right? And I think that that's what this card's talking about, very much so. And then we go to the tarot, and then I have the Three of Wands and the Lovers in the first column. And this is kind of our energy. And to me, this kind of feels like, we're in this expansion of, connectivity, whether that be with somebody else, whether that be with our inner self, which I kind of feel like with this reading, that's kind of where we're at. It feels more like within our inner selves. And I like to kind of think of everything that way. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry. But that's what it feels like to me. It feels like we're definitely in this energy of expansion and expanding on the concepts of connection and really finding that, and exploring it, whether that be with ourselves, other people, or just the connection with it, what it is, right? The one, the all. And then what kind of makes me feel like this is very much like a personal journey is I have the Chariot, which I thought was pretty cool. I love it when cards line up like that. So this is my column of what we need to work on, what we need to focus on. And I think we're strongly being told that this path that we're on, whether it be collectively or personally, is very much one of endurance and strength and a very balanced path. This is something that has a lot of momentum, and we're kind of being asked to stay on it, right? It's almost kind of like focus on your path. That's what's important for you right now, because I feel like a lot of times we kind of get distracted and we're like, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Finding that true self and what's within is what will line everything else up, right? In the third column, we have the Two of Wands and we have the Eight of Pentacles. So like the Two of Wands is like ambition, wanting to get out there and do something, or, being sparked by something with that, Ace of Wands. And then this is putting that into action, right? It can also be about kind of crafting something like that you're thinking about doing. And then with the Eight of Pentacles, that is putting in the work. That is somebody who is willing to put in the work, right? So I feel like this is saying that the path that we're on, and I also feel like since there's the Two of Wands and there is the Lovers here, I feel like there also is a kind of like an element of making that choice, kind of making the choice to stick with this path and being patient, because you know that it does take a little bit of work and effort, but with that ambition and that drive, you can make it, right? Whatever we're looking for, it's going to be there. And I feel like that also is followed up by the Hermit and the Three of Pentacles. So a lot of times the Hermit, we think of that as somebody who is like hermiting away, so to speak, sitting in a cave and meditating all day. But really that's that deeper dive in that inner work. And you really don't have to do that away from people. Yeah, you need time alone, but don't we always need time alone anyway? You drive yourself nuts. Well, there's people out there that don't. I don't know who those people are, because it's not me. But it's very much about tapping into who you are and understanding those deeper truths, because honestly, that's all it's about, is understanding what's true for you. Sometimes we look for outer resources, and the Three of Pentacles sometimes can be using those resources around you and what you kind of can bring to the table, what other people can bring to the table to kind of craft your masterpiece. Whether this is something collectively, whether you're collaborating with somebody, but ultimately it is really kind of bringing that knowledge. And the Hermit with that lantern is shining the light on things. He's giving the wisdom, showing the truth, right? So maybe this is about kind of doing that collectively and kind of allowing that for each other. But really, to kind of know that truth, we kind of have to dive in as well. And so the last two cards I have Perception, which 99.9% of everything to me is perception. I feel like perception and intention is what makes up everything. It's, how you see something and how you go about it, right? Whether that's something you believe, whether it's how you want to live your life, that is going to direct your outcome. So I feel like also with some adjustments need to be made. And then really with that Crow card talking about like speaking your truth, maybe this is something that somebody needs some encouragement. They need to understand that it's okay. I think sometimes when we start on a journey, a lot of times we get so introspective that we kind of forget that the whole point is to be in the world with others and kind of spread that, right? The whole point is to, experience it. Especially if you got people around you that you can do that with, then it's like even more, right? That's what makes the magic. But I feel like, this card of there are adjustments that need to be made. I think it's about really allowing yourself to let that out, right? And if this is a decision to kind of stay on your path or a decision to choose a path, maybe that's what this adjustment needs to be made. But look at the perspective of it, kind of maybe sit back a little bit and kind of figure out, what are you trying to convey, right? Maybe what's keeping you from speaking your truth or being in your truth. Because ultimately, I believe the path really is about living in your truth and being your ultimate self. I hope this helped somebody today. If you like this message, feel free to like and subscribe or share if you want. And I do have personal readings on my Buy Me a Coffee. No pressure. It's just there. I thought it was something that I would like to branch out and do. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.